And to our listeners, that today I did go to the wrong studio for this recording. But of course, I must disagree with Peter Jones. I don't always go to the wrong studio. I must also disagree.
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
And I must disagree with Derek's challenge because he says, as far as he knows, this is the only time. Well, I must be truthful and say I have been before to the wrong studio. So what do I do? Shall I let the audience be the judge?
Oh, yes.
Audience, if you agree with Derek's challenge that I've only been to the wrong studio once, will you cheer? If you agree with Peter Jones that I always go to the wrong studio, will you boo? And will you all do it together? Now. Oh, I'm going! They think I always go to the wrong studio. You think I'm always in the wrong studio? Well, bad luck on you next time if I'm in. Anyway, you agree with Peter Jones. You're right. You're against the chairman as well as the panel. My goodness, all right,
I'm
Peter.
not against
you have a
Nick.
Oh, Sheila, thank you. Peter, you have another point and 5 seconds on my foibles starting now.
I know another foible you have, which I don't want to...
Sheila Hancock has challenged.
Hesitation?
Yes, Sheila, you've got in just before the whistle. There are 2 seconds on my foibles, Sheila, starting now.
I find it very embarrassing to talk about.
Well, as you know, whoever's speaking when the whistle goes, which is borne most delicately and exquisitely by Ian Messiter, who thought of the game, gets an extra point. And on this occasion, it was Sheila, who was in second place with Kenneth Williams, behind Peter Jones in the lead, and Derek has yet to score, and Sheila will begin the next round, and the subject is excuses. Sheila, will you talk on that subject for 60 seconds, if you can, starting now?
Excuses are something that I used to make when I was younger, but I've ceased to make now I'm aged, because I think if people can't accept me as I am, well, it's their bad luck. If I'm late, I just say I'm late. I don't make up any reason. I remember my very first excuse was when I was 3 years old and I decided to leave home. And my parents ran a pub and I packed my attaché case with all my belongings and walked out through the pub. There was dead silence because everybody was rather anxious. And 5 minutes later, I came back shamefacedly and said I forgot my gloves, which, of course, was just an excuse to get back. However, since then, as I say, I've changed.
Peter Jones is challenged.
A repetition of pub.
Oh.
Yes. I did a long time ago, but I thought it better to let the story unwind.
Too long ago. It's past it. You should have made it when it happened.
There's no law about
There's a law. You must make it when it
happens.
happens. You can't wait for all that length of time. That's a disgrace. Sheila Hancock was well underway. You did a most ungallant thing.
No, I think he was...
Most ungallant.
In spite of the way you're playing on the audience, I disagree. I think he was actually being gallant because he allowed Sheila to keep going so that we heard something from Sheila about her life, which we found very touching and interesting. And then he decided to challenge, and so I award him a point for a correct challenge. And he has the subject with 17 seconds left. Excuses, Peter, starting now.
I've known actors and writers who are more inventive in making excuses than they are in their work. One of the great secrets about excuses is to only make one at a time. If you fail to turn up for some function and you explain that you were ill, that your uncle died,
Peter Jones is speaking when the whistle went, and he gained that bonus point, which means he's increased his lead at the end of that round. He now has 5 points. Derek Nimmo, will you begin the next round, please? The subject, training a performing flea. I don't know whether Ian Messiter thought of the subject because he feels you might have some personal experience, but we'll soon find out as you start talking for 60 seconds now.
Well, training a performing flea is a really frightfully difficult thing to do because you have to establish a breeding ground for your fleas, and one tends to use one's friends' ears so you can send them away with a flea in one so they can grow and mature and become nicely rounded fleas. An extraordinary thing is a flea. You can't tell a he from a she, but he can and she can whoopee, which is a very nice thing to reflect when you're actually performing with your fleas.
Peter Jones is challenged.
Deviation.
Why?
He's reciting limericks again. Kenneth was. Nothing to do with how to train a performing
Incorrect
flea.
challenge. He wasn't reciting limericks before, so how can he recite them again?
No, you will.
Kenneth Williams. Thank you very much, Kenneth. We enjoyed it, but I'm actually the chairman who has to make the decisions.